And you are watching another edition of Blewett Blitz. This is not the first review I expected to be doing after I got done with the draft picks from the Jets 2024 draft class. Andrew Beck, though, 6'3", 250. I think I have about 30-ish plays of Beck to review. Um, Somebody who's kind of seemingly forgotten by Jets fans that they did sign a fullback. And based on the way that they want to play and based on the lack of talent they have at tight end, I actually think that he may play a little bit more than Jets fans are thinking. I know a lot of people are saying like, hey, Jets being, they're going to lean a little bit more heavier into 12 personnel, and that's what many people expect them to do. But I almost think that, I'm not saying they're going to run 21 more than 12, but I do think 21 is going to creep in a little bit more because back from my watching, at least my remembrance, I just looked. I finished the last play on February 14th, so on Valentine's Day, about 4 months ago or whatever it was. So it's been quite a bit, but and we'll go through the review. But I remember liking him quite a bit. So I do think this is a guy who's going to be on the Jets roster. So it may be a situation where you have five running backs, really one fullback, four running backs, because you have we all know the top three, and Brees, Allen, and Davis, plus Naguano or whatever his name is, the kick returner. But I think you carry Beck. I think it might be a situation where you only carry maybe two tight ends, maybe three at max. But I think Beck is going to be on this roster. Now, obviously, we have all of camp, and things can happen, and maybe he's not the same player he was in 2023, 2024. But overall, I remember liking him. So I do think that this is a player who, if you are having your 53-man roster prediction type videos, not a lot of people are going to factor Beck in, but Beck will be in mine. Again, at least in my remembrance, I liked him quite a bit. So let's watch him. So he's right here, lined up as a fullback, and he has quite a few good reps in this review. And the thing that I like about this rep is obviously they're running, tight inside zone split, and he's just going to kick out anything on the backside here. And coming into the block, very controlled from Beck, breaking down, comes into contact very low, throwing the shoulder, the correct shoulder. You don't want him to spill that. You want to take on the inside shoulder of Hamilton, gets hands on, gets the left arm, nice tight elbow angle into the rib cage, into the center of gravity, and holds them up. It's a good rep just in terms of the control and the angle and the ability to get low and pop them and then stay attached. It's a good job by Beck, and this is one for the diehards. This is for the people who really care about the Jets. Me doing a fullback review, and most people aren't even gonna consider him a player who's going to make the roster. But if you watch this review, I think I'll change your mind and be like, oh, this guy really probably should make the roster for the Jets. Like, hey, do you want him blocking on a play, or do you want Jeremy Ruckert? And I'm taking him 10 times out of 10 over Jeremy Ruckert blocking. So, call it 12 and put him as a freaking tight end. I don't care. But if you're trying to block in the box, much rather have him over Rucker. Much 1,000 times out of 1,000 would have him over Stone Smart. Stone Smart's a big receiver. He's not a blocker. So, who's that? Who's the best blocker on the Jets team from tight ends, fullbacks, running backs? It's Beck, and it's really not close. Beck angles and patient. So here we go again. Lined up as a fullback, which is going to be the entire review because he's a fullback. There's sometimes he flexes out wide. You can play, wide tight end for their player too. But another situation where they're running inside tight zone split, and it's just a patience thing with Beck. You don't have to be overzealous. Really, a lot of run blocking. And this isn't the case for every single run block, but a lot of it's just getting in the way and holding a guy up, unless you're at the point of attack. But like as a sifter, as a split zone blocker, just get in the way. Does a good job of. Um, the one thing I do like too here is that he closes ground, but then do you see how he gets lateral here to cover ground vertically? It's because, and it's something I talk about all the time with offensive linemen, tight ends, blockers, whatever, is, make them, especially if it's more of a vertical run. If you're gonna allow this safety, whatever he is, linebacker, I don't know. If you're gonna allow him to beat you, let him beat you to the outside, because then the running back's already gonna be he's getting vertical. If he goes back, if he goes up the arc here, then he's not gonna really affect the play. So what I really like about Beck here is the fact that he gets vertical at the last second. We see him shuffle. 2 yards vertically to ensure that he does not get beat over the top. Again, get beat underneath. Do not get beat over the top. He does a really good job, patience, climbing, taking on the inside shoulder, getting nice tight hands, and holding him up. I know the run doesn't go anywhere, but that's a really good block from Beck. Just really good patience, really good understanding of angles, good hand placement. Um, and I know the first two plays are more they're more, not passive, but they're not the sexiest play. They're not highlights. They're coming. They're coming for Beck. Or maybe like this one. And I recorded this in February, so I don't really remember. But Beck lead block decleat. Okay, so he's lined up as a fullback, right? And that is against our very own Andre Cisco. So another thing where he plays with really good control. We can see him breaking down as he's coming into that block, gets low, drops the shoulder, gets hands on, and decleats him and drives him to the turf. Can you really ask for much better from a lead blocker here? No, you're talking about just like another tight zone, like a lead tight zone, and again, nice bend, nice leverage into the block, throwing the shoulder, getting hands on, driving him, finishing it. Bravo. He's starting this review off with three really, really good plays. This one is one that there's not, actually has a little bit to break down this one. I remember a little bit, but he's on kickoff right here and it's short or a squib kick or whatever, but he's right here and he gets this kickoff return, obviously, as you can see, for a touchdown. Okay, fumbles it, but in terms of the control and stuff, and I'll let it play through the first time. I'll go through and just kind of talk about some of the athleticism, um, on this play, just for him to maintain his balance is pretty impressive from, again, a fullback. So gets the ball initially, right? 57 is coming to the inside. He doesn't want to go there, so drops his weight, pushes through an arm tackle, pushes through another arm tackle, two hands on the ball when he's coming into contact the entire time. Why? He doesn't want to fumble. Hell of a job there. You know, breaks three tackles. One, two, three. Really, really shitty third one, but three tackles. Outruns another guy. Dives at his leg. Pulls the leg up. Pulls the near leg up. So his weight's not on it. So he doesn't knock his feet out from under him. Guides him to the ground. Stiff arm to the turf. Lighten the near leg. Now it's him versus the punter. Again, punter dives for his leg. High knee it, pull it through. High knee it, pull it through. Maintains his balance again. Another guy comes. Like, what is this, man? Another guy comes, lighten the near leg, pull it up, exactly what we want. Stiff arm, guide him to the ground. He hits the outside of the leg a little bit, but is able to maintain the balance on the sideline, run for a touchdown. All right, sign me up. Him and Niguanu, new kickoff returners. It's fun, man. I remember this film being fun. Again, I think people are overlooking this player. Lead block. So I believe he's right here. Yeah, I believe he's right here. Let's watch it through and see. Yeah. Okay. So now we have counter OH. Again, he gets tackled in the backfield. I don't care. I'm looking at Beck individually here, and now he's lined up as a tight end. H back, and comes in with control, right? Diagnosing. You have the guard who's going to kick out. The H back is going to lead here. Control, good leverage, rolling the hips up. Now his hands don't land inside, but okay, you're not going to win every rep inside. He's still able to roll the hips, drive the feet, stay attached, and kick him out. Now, let's say if the running back did get through here, I don't know exactly what happens or who misses their block or whatever. I'm not going to try to get into their whole scheme here. One-on-one with 23 in a hole, you want to see Pierce win that, but Beck opens a lane for him. Like, there's a lane if he could beat that one guy. All right. Beck on a Zorro effort. So you're probably have a situation. Well, yeah, it's a Zorro. So I always forget if 18, 19 is right or left, but nonetheless, it's Zorro. So it's almost like a moving combo between the two tight ends on this guy right here. And they're gonna kind of read the block. So he works more inside. Beck picks him up. Again, control into the block. Working off his insteps, right hand into the hip area, and drive him outside. Like, is look how long he stays attached too. Control. It's all about control. Like, don't get overzealous. And that's something that Jeremy Rucker is the king of, is getting overzealous and getting over his toes. Beck has really, really good control. Again, you're reading this block. He's going more inside. If he's going outside, then he's just gonna probably pull it vertical. But comes into the block with good hand placement and then just stays attached and drives him. It's a good job, no doubt. Beck kick out. All right. Now there's a fullback again. Number 47 here. Kicking out the edge there where we have power. Yeah, we got power and he's a kick out. Does he open a gap there against the guy I reviewed in college is Devin Lloyd? But it's a good job taking an inside out angle, right? You don't want him to knife inside here. You want to take him out. You want to take an inside out angle, which he does. Breaks down, good balance, good stance in terms of like his feet being shoulder width apart. He's not leaning, he's not over his toes. Gets his hands inside, torques him a little bit outside, opens the lane as he kicks him out. It's a good job.